19,000 people have signed a petition against the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade for featuring transgender performers. Kristen, what prompted this action? Is it just their presence at a parade that's known for wholesome family activity?
I think that's part of it, but Disney's box office flops like the Marvels, as well as Macy's inclusion of a non-binary transgender character in a parade is just another example of an ideological war that's being waged on families, and customers are saying they've had enough, but it seems that corporate brands that were once trusted just still aren't getting the message.
Okay, so that's obviously intentionally ridiculous. It's buffoonish. These are not adults. These are ridiculous little kiddos running around in fancy clothes. They're so mad that there will be at the parade, and earmuffs if you need to, non-binary and trans people. They'll be there. What will they be doing? Sitting on floats. But they will be there. And that by itself is an issue. That is an attack on families, that these people who presumably have families exist. He said it's not, we need wholesome, family friendly. What is inherently non-wholesome about Justin David Sullivan, who's non-binary, appearing in the And Juliet parade performance? Or Alex Newell, a non-binary Tony Award-winning actor who plays the female character Lulu in Shucked, being there? What is anti-family about that? This is not a rhetorical question. This is an actual question to them because they're not saying. Did you notice that? That they're not saying anymore what the issue is? So she cited the fact that Marvels didn't do that well and said it's because of this anti-family agenda. Would you care to define that? I know that everyone is saying it's going to fail because it's woke. Why? Why is it woke? Simply because it stars women? That two of the women are women of color, one's a Muslim, one's a black woman. Would you care to be specific about what makes that woke? Miss Marvel, Aman Vellani, one of the characters, her whole thing is her relationship with her family. Now, granted, that family is a different religion than perhaps the people who are shouting at you from that shot from Fox that you saw. But would you like to actually say, don't just imply, but state what is anti-family about a Muslim family? It's just they're not even trying to make an argument anymore, JR. It is literally just a label that they put on literally anything else, anything out there that they consider to be politically incorrect and thus needs to be stopped.
Once the veil is up, though, they just go ahead and accept it. They tried to push the woke thing and said, wokeness is. And then once people had to start defining it, then when they couldn't, then they said, obviously woke is just us hating anyone that's not the standard of what we always accepted as the better human being. So they just dive right in. They don't have to say it anymore. They're like, the people that are listening to us, they understand what we're saying. Racist, bigotry, exclusion, homophobia, Islamophobia, it doesn't matter. Look, phobias, that's what it is. We're the aggressive, hateful, violent folks. And anybody that doesn't like that, they're woke. So they just know who they are already. So by the way, so as you point out, there's folks on this float. What is it that they're actually doing to folks? What is it that they're doing to people? There's a first non-binary referee in the NBA. Their name is Che Flores. I don't know if people know that, or if they've been watching the NBA, or if they think maybe the whistle doesn't work the same way in their mouth that it works in a man or a woman's mouth in the NBA. Maybe they can't put their hand up and say three-pointer right when the person shoots it. What is the difference about that person being there? And what they're very upset about is that people will announce it, because it was a news story that Che Flores is the first non-binary ref, openly non-binary ref in the NBA. So the news is what frustrates them. Oh, look what they're throwing it in my face. Yo, you don't have to read it. You don't have to go to NBA games, and you also don't have to watch it. So by the way, let these insular people and want to exclude themselves from society. As society progresses, like it always has done, let them go ahead and run off into the mountains like that one lady that I think Michael Schur or David Schuster interviewed out in the streets. She said, I'm gonna run to the mountains if Donald Trump loses. Cool, bro. I think we finally agree on something. If you don't like society, leave it. Not saying leave the country like the way conservatives like to say folks to do if the country's literally coming after them and not serving them well as we pay taxes into it. I'm talking about if you want to run away from society because society scares you, fine. You're the minority of people who are afraid of humans. Run off and be by yourself next to the mountain lions and the cougars. I don't know. It's make whatever makes you happy, because this is scary for you. So I understand.
Yeah. And if you're scared of that, if you're scared of art, you can just run from it. I mean, I would, on your way out, maybe you could explain why it is that you cannot watch something that stars a woman or a Muslim person or a black person. What is it about those things that makes them so inherently bad? I don't understand that. People will gladly watch things starring like a white person who's different from them in many ways or whatever. But there's just something about it where it is unacceptable. I am not going to look at these people who are slightly different than me. I still don't understand it. I get that in this particular case, when it has to do with these floats that are about Broadway shows, Fox has got to have had their head blown that members of the LGBTQ community have just now breached Broadway. I know that must shock them, but I don't understand the performative just freaking out for literally everything.
Did you know gay people perform on Broadway?
What? It can't happen. God, these people are utterly pathetic.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.